the Beretta PX4 Storm G-SD version. Let's check it out. Today we're going to take a look at the Beretta PX4 Storm. This was designed in 2004. And today we're going to take a look at the 20th year anniversary edition, which is a G model, which has the G style decocker and the SD for heavy duty. This has been built up. One of the things about the PX4 Storm is it's super strong. It has the rotating barrel system, which makes it super flat to shoot, low muzzle rise, and lighter recoil. It's one of the most underrated guns on the market, especially in the double single action semi-automatic pistols. Now the G-SD model is actually in collaboration with Langdon Tactical, which has done a lot of work with Beretta. While this is the production model, Langdon Tactical takes this to another level, but it's also double the price. So today we're going to take a look at the PX4 Storm G-SD. And guys, if you've never tried out the PX4 Storm, that rotating barrel system puts this in a whole different realm. And we want to give a big thank you to Nate over at Gun Zone Deals for sending the PX4 Storm G-SD for this review. All right guys, we have the Beretta PX4 Storm. This is the G-SD. SD is for Super Duty. I mean, this thing is built like a tank. The G stands for the safety, and we'll take a look at that. So before we get started, let's go ahead and drop our magazine. We have a 17 round magazine. It does come with an additional 17 rounder, and it comes with a 20 rounder, but it's also available in the 10 round version as well. And so this gives you quite a bit of capacity. It hangs off the frame just a touch, but flush fit 17 round mags. And check the chamber, and the gun's unloaded. Now first thing we're going to notice about the PX4, you'll notice that barrel rotating. And that is the real big secret for the PX4 Storm. It reduces recoil, it reduces muzzle flip. There's a weight on the end that actually helps that. Now this is the G-SD again, but this one is really a production model of the Langdon Tactical G-SD. There are some differences, and one of the big differences is it's half the price, but this has Ernest Langdon's signature on this handgun. You can get the basic model as well. We're going to do a little comparison with it, but let's look at the G type safety. So here we have a decocker. Typically with the Beretta, you just bring your decocker down, it drops the hammer, and it stays on safe. With the G, it pops back up. Now you can get the F model in this, and it will be a decocker and safety. And then when you get ready to fire the handgun, you have to disengage your safety. I like the G model. It's already in double action, so it's going to be really safe. But that gives me one less thing to have to worry about if I have to draw this from a holster. And so we're going to put our magazine in. Now one thing, it's tapered at the end, so it goes in fairly well. I think Langdon Tactical does make a magazine well to go with it. This is a polymer frame with a steel slide, steel barrel. There are some similarities to the Beretta M9. And part of that is their trigger system. It's very similar to the Beretta. Also their safety system. And here we have a Beretta M9A4. It's one of their later iterations. Very smooth, empty. And here again we have the G-type safety. I believe the M9A3 had the standard F-type safety. Again, this is a big plus for me. But we're getting, again, the same trigger system and we're getting the same safety system. But other than that, I mean, they're just two totally different handguns. Now, it's definitely an orthodox look, but that is typical for Beretta. They are the land of Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and sometimes their styling is definitely different. It's very sleek in design. It's very actually futuristic in a sense, very modular looking. Some people don't like the way it looks. To me, it's one of the most underrated handguns out there, mainly because of that rotating barrel system. It is just very smooth to shoot. Again, this is the 20th anniversary, and so this gives us a few more features than we have for our standard PX4 Storm. And here we have one. Actually, this was a police trade-in. I did a review on this a few years ago. There are some differences between these two, and that really is one of the big things. Langdon Tactical has really taken the Beretta 92 series and completely transformed it. And then he got really interested in the PX4 Storm, and so they are doing a lot of different things. So there are a lot of different options to upgrade these. But one of the big things about between these two is actually the barrel. Now the HD for heavy duty, we're going to lock it back. We have our barrel. It is a cold hammer forged barrel. It's 4 inches. And this has been beefed up to really take a lot of rounds. Here with the standard, go ahead and lock it back and you can see that it is empty. The barrel diameter is the 9mm, and then this has actually a 40 caliber barrel, but it's in 9mm. It gives you a heavier profile, which is going to give you a stronger barrel, and it's actually going to add a little bit of weight, which allows for the rotating barrel system just to work better. Now these have a marksman crown on them, so you're going to be able to preserve your accuracy. And then another difference is the safeties. Now here with the original, it has a little bit of a safety that comes out. It's not really that much, but it definitely sticks out. I think on the compact carry models, they have it a little bit subdued, and that's what they have on this model. Now this is a full-size PX4 Storm, and you can get these in a compact version, you can get them in a subcompact. So there are some options. One of the things about the subcompact is that it is pretty thick, and yet it's really short, so it's a little bit different. But one of the things I found was even that handgun with that rotating barrel system, it is really a great gun to take to the range. Again, very soft recoil, very low muzzle rise, and it just has a very nice recoil impulse. And it's one of the things about rotating barrel systems, they just shoot a little differently, but it's a good different. And on this one, we do have the G-type safety as well. I believe I actually changed this and installed a G-type safety. The original was one of the F safeties, which is just like a lot of the Beretta M9 started out with. But the G-type safety, to me, makes this a lot easier. One thing you also notice is that here on the original, it has a little bit of a larger slide stop, and then with the G-SD model, it's very subdued. So this gives you really more of a combat style handgun, and it does have a kind of a gray finish to it, battleship gray, whereas on the traditional, it's black, and I believe they do make some other colors. Now we have front and rear cocking serrations. We do have a Picatinny rail. It's one slot. This one is not optics ready, but the Langdon Tactical model is optics ready. Also, it has a flat face trigger. The trigger's been completely redone. It has an MP3 finish on the safeties and on the recoiling system, which this is just a black nitride. Now these guns have been NATO certified, and they've actually taken over 150,000 rounds with any parts breakages, according to Beretta, which is pretty impressive. Definitely this is a very robust gun, and one of the reasons it's a very simple design, and we'll look at that when we break it down. Now it is a double single action, and so with the trigger, it does come out in that double action mode. But as we pull the trigger, it's a long, fairly heavy trigger pull, but it's very smooth. And then of course, reset is not super fast or super quick, and that has to do with the double single action. But as we look at single action, take up, we hit a wall, and then a very nice break. With the Langdon Tactical flat face trigger, there is no take up. It comes straight to the wall and you fire it. And again, this is just really a production model. It has less features, but again, you're paying quite a bit less. And the G-type safeties are ambidextrous. You do again have your slide stop here, but it's fairly minimal. And you do have your takedown levers right here, which is very similar to your polymer frame striker fire pistols. We have our mag release, which comes up. It is checkered really well, and it just allows those mags to drop out. Again, it is extended just a touch. But really, I didn't have any issues with inadvertently hitting my mag release. The hammer is one of the skeletonized hammers. And again, it just is a nice trigger pull. The sights are dovetailed in. We have a black rear sight, and then here at the front we have orange dot. It's dovetailed in as well, and Beretta does offer different sights for these. One of the things though that is the same as your standard Beretta 92, and you'll see this little dot here at the top of the slide. When you pull the trigger, that is your firing pin safety, and you'll notice that it pops up. And that releases the safety to be able to fire the gun. And so this gives you that protection, and of course you have your side safeties. On the Beretta 92, it's that bar, and you'll notice that it sticks up like this. With the mount for the optics on here, it actually has a cutout to allow that to raise up and down. And that was one of the holdups for the 92 getting an optic system. But we've shot this one with the optic system, and it really works well. The texturing on the front and the back strap is a checkered pattern. It's actually pretty decent. You do have a very smooth finish here. Now, one of the things about that is when you're getting a two-hand grip in your support hand, it gives you a little extra traction. Really, the main part that you're holding on to is the front and back strap, but that does give you some bonus. With the G-SD model, it does come with some Talon grips, and these are excellent. I've used these for years, and it just gives you that extra grip around the handgun. I did not install this because I wanted to show it as is. But the Talon grips are great, and again, we've used these a lot for especially guns that are a little bit slick. But with the front and back strap here, we didn't have any issues. But this definitely gives you some advantages. And again, it comes with the handgun. And it comes with 2 additional back straps. And so this gives you the option to be able to remove your back strap and add a thicker or actually a smaller back strap according to your hand size. So very modular. Now, if 9mm is not your scene, they do make the 45 ACP in this, and they also make the 40 caliber. And again, this is the 40 caliber diameter barrel, and so it just gives you a little extra strength. But these are very simple, yet very robust handguns. One thing too is, again, with the controls being very minimal, even here with the safeties and with your slide stop, it's a pretty snag-free type design. You've got areas that are beveled. Here at the front of the slide, all the angles are kind of cut, and so it gives it a very slick finish. Now, it's a little thicker than some of your polymer striker fire pistols. This is, I believe, 1.42 inches in width, and so it gives you a little bit of thickness, but it's got a really solid grip. And I'm going to tell you guys, when you're firing it at the range with that rotating barrel system, I mean, it just pulls around, it delays the lockup that gives a lot of that gas time to come out, and then it just allows for very smooth shooting. A lot of people have really wanted for Glock to do that. I think they've dabbled in that with some of their testing, but it's definitely a design that's really popular in Europe. And so this is something that to me is a direction that I think we're going to be seeing more of. Now here we have the Grand Power. This is actually a P1. It's one of the older models, but we've done some different reviews on it. But you'll notice the barrel system rotates. And these are very smooth shooting handguns. These are made in Slovakia. They have a double single action model with the K series, and the Q series is a striker fire polymer frame. But these are all polymer frame, and they have that rotating barrel system again, which makes this very soft to shoot. These are very popular in Europe in the competitive circuits because of the barrel system. Very soft to shoot, very reliable, and very well made. In fact, it's the same company that makes the Streebog. But I've been a big fan of the Grand Power, but there's something obviously about the Beretta that makes this, it gives it some class, and yet it has some really cool designs in it. All right, let's check the trigger pull action. We're going to go with double action first. It is a fairly long reach to the trigger. So if you have smaller hands, it may be a little bit of a stretch. But here, very smooth all the way through, and then the brake right there next to the frame. Reset right there. And then it has a little take up after the reset and then back to the brake. With single action, and that just brings your trigger back. We have a little take up right to here and a nice brake. It's not super crisp, but most of your double single action semi-automatics, they aren't as crisp. And again, reset right there. But the Langdon Tactical, again, flat face trigger, and it is a very crisp brake. We'll check the trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. Double action first. 8 pounds, 4.1 ounces. Single action. 4 pounds, 10.7 ounces. 4 pounds, 11.9 ounces. Really consistent. Now with a double single action handgun, you load your magazine in, and then you rack the slide, put a round in it, and then you hit your G-type safety, and it drops the hammer, and it protects it from going off. Now you're ready to fire. That first shot is going to be a long double action pull. So you'll notice that as we pull the trigger, the hammer comes back, and then it fires the handgun. Subsequent shots are going to have the hammer in the rear position. And so it's going to be a very quick shot. It's one of the things you need to practice if you don't have a lot of experience with the double single action, is that first shot has a long trigger pull, and then the second shot you tend to pull the trigger before you're ready. And so just be mindful of that. But you need to train with double action, because if you have this in a holster or you're using this for self-defense, it should be in this hammer down double action ready. And so that, again, that first trigger pull is going to be long, but subsequent shots are going to be quick. Now, if you load your magazine, have a round in here, hit your safety, you can actually thumb cock the hammer and you can take that first shot. But in a self-defense situation, you're probably going to use that double action. Now the slide is cut from steel bar stock. It's one piece. This gray finish, you know, it doesn't say what it is, but it's so finely done. I'm not sure if it's a really nice Cerakote or if it is some kind of anodizing. But it is really well done. You can see all the detail. I mean, really the two contrast, it's almost imperceivable. It almost looks black, but it has that contrast to the black with the gray. Weight on the PX4 Storm, 28.6 ounces. Big thank you to Fiocchi for sponsoring our ammo, all made in the USA, one of the top suppliers of ammunition in the country. And also, we appreciate Lula Loaders, making mag loads fast and easy. The Beretta PX4 Storm, probably one of the most underrated semi-automatic pistols on the market. One of the big things about the PX4 is it has a rotating barrel system, which makes this shoot really soft. It is a little thick, and that's probably one of the reasons why it's not gained as much popularity. It's just very plain as well. But man, it is really soft to shoot. It also has the G-type safety. So if we bring back our hammer, we hit the decocker, it pops the safety off. It's a big deal. Now we're shooting some of the 20 round magazines, which they offer 3 different magazines, front and rear cocking serrations. While it is double single action, man, it's a smooth trigger as well. Of course, hitting that decocker just brings it back up, and now we can shoot it in double action. Ergonomic grip, has some texturing right here at the front and back strap. You really feel like you've got it in your hand, and again, that rotating barrel is just so smooth. Now, one of the things about the sights, it just has a black outline at the back, but it has this fluorescent orange at the front, which makes it really easy to pick up. And guys, it just put just a big glob. It just shoots so well. Of course, you have your 1-slot Picatinny rail. I've been a big fan of these for a long time, and I think anybody that shoots one, you're just going to like it. That rotating barrel system is definitely different, and a good different. Now when it comes to disassembly, we're going to drop our magazine, check to make sure the gun is empty, pull the trigger in a safe direction. Go ahead and bring back your slide and just pull down on those takedown tabs. And then just push the slide forward. You don't have to pull the trigger. Here we have our recoil system, and this is very interesting. This is the recoil spring and guide rod, and then we have the recoil system that works with your rotating barrel. And of course that does come apart. Now the barrels fit in fairly tight, so you just want to kind of get it out of battery and then just bring it forward, and then it'll come straight out. This is really a cool system. And so here we have this little nub in this one section, and then you have a track in your barrel. And so as that fits on there, as the gun fires, it just rotates back and forth, and it rests against that block. Very simple design. And honestly, it's very simple to put back. You can't install this without it being in the right position. And I have seen some guns that can be a nightmare to reassemble because of just a complicated system, whether it's recoil system or just a unique barrel system. Here we have the slide, of course, very well done, which is typical for Beretta. And then with the frame, we do have some slide rails here and here. You can see the locking block, the hammer system, but just a polymer double single action frame. And guys, that's all you need to do to field strip. Now guys, keeping your gun maintained is very important, and we want to give a big thank you to Otis Technologies for sponsoring our channel, and they make really great cleaning kits. Also, they designed the original ripcord, or what's called the bore snake now, and then their little portable tactical cleaning kits. And these are the official supplier for the U.S. military. So a big thanks to Otis. All right, guys, for reassembly. Again, it only goes in one way. You want to make sure that the barrel rotating groove is right there, and it'll just fit. Take your locking block with the recoil spring, and we're going to go ahead and set it into place. And it kind of just snaps into place like this. And you can give it a little bump, make sure it's in the right place. Then bring the slide over the frame. Put it in slide lock, bring it down, and we're back in business. Very simple. Now the retail price for the PX4 Storm is $669. On Guns on Deals, they're running $551, and that's this model. With the G-SD model, of course, with a lot of upgrades, these retail for $875. On Guns on Deals, they're $679. And again, this is the 20th year anniversary of the PX4 Storm. If you buy a Langdon Tactical PX4 Storm, they are $1,680. So just to give you an idea of what these are running. As far as pros and cons, the big one is the rotating barrel system. Guys, I mean, it's just so smooth, so slick. And again, G-type safety, the 40 caliber diameter barrel for your 9mm. And then, of course, just the no snag design. Grips, good texturing here. A little bit of a con is that they're pretty smooth on the sides, but yet you do have the option with this model for Talon grips, but you can get Talon grips even for your standard model. Really smooth, nice trigger pull. They're a little thick, a little thicker than some, but they shoot like a dream. And guys, they're very simple, robust. Again, Beretta states that the PX4 to shoot 150,000 rounds with no parts breakages. And that has to do with the simplicity and just the beefed up system. You take the SD model, Super Duty, and that gives you even more advantages. Sights, I mean, they're dovetailed in, black front, orange dot. Not optics ready, but you can get the optics ready version from Langdon Tactical, and I think they do have a version where you can replace the rear sight. That may be a con. Also, Picatinny rail, front and rear slide serrations, and just a great shooting gun. And the price, I mean, again, they start out at about $550 on Guns on Deals, and you know, they run up according to the different features. And you have multiple calibers. And the PX4 Storm, one of the most underrated handguns on the market, with that rotating barrel system, the Beretta quality. It's just a smooth shooting handgun, and it's built like a tank. And if you really want something to depend on, this is one to really take a look at. Again, a big thank you to Nate over at Guns on Deals for partnering with us. It allows us to bring a lot of different firearms to you guys. Be strong, Be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Cerakote finish. I'm not even sure if that's Cerakote or not. What am I saying? I think Ernest, and the slide is made from one piece. Okay, now the slide is taken from one firearms for review to you guys. Okay. But I didn't find having any issues with releasing my magazine.